And we are live. What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Johnny Dunt, and we back with another one. Now, there's no drop today, but we have the Ecomi team coming on the Twitter Spaces. We got a lot to cover. We got a lot going on today. So in about a couple more minutes, about 3 more minutes, we got the AMA going on with the whole Ecomi team. So this is always good to get updated. We got a lot coming up soon, so shout out to everybody joining the chat today. There he is, Daniel Marquez. How we doing? How we doing, fam? This is gonna be a good one. Let me know if you guys got any questions. Should be starting up real soon, real soon. A lot of big things on the way. A lot of big things. We know Immutable's right next door, right? We know that's coming up. I'm sure we're gonna be, moving to Ethereum once that happens, right? I mean, that's the whole premise of it. And so once we're on Ethereum, you can bet we're going to be on exchanges sometime shortly after that. We don't know exactly when, but I think the exchanges, they're really waiting on, Omi to get on Ethereum. Once that happens, I think it's off to the races. Let's get it. How we doing, fam? Kobe collects. This should definitely be a good one. Can you guys hear me? How we doing, fam? Can you guys hear me now? How's this? No audio? Is this a lot better now? I think you guys can hear me now, right? There we go. Awesome. Alright, sorry about that. My mic wasn't live. So what we got going on tonight, there's no drop, obviously, but we got the Holy Ecomi team joining us for the AMA. Basically, it's an interview with the Ecomi team. They're going to update us on everything that's going on today. Or everything that's coming up, this week, next week. We got a lot of big things on the way. We got Immutable coming up. The Mtl is rolling out as we speak. So in a couple more minutes, they're going to be hopping on the Twitter Spaces. Shout out to everybody joining the live. There we go. Sorry about that. The audio wasn't working in the very beginning. How we doing, fam? How we doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Can you guys hear it?
Oh, have we still got you there, Alex? Hit that button.
How we doing, fam? How we doing?
That put me in such a festive mood. Those tunes, Reverend Alex.
Yes, indeed. Give me a sec. My AirPods are not connecting for some reason. All right. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
This should be a good one.
AirPods still aren't connecting, so I'm just going to go manual. All right. Before we get started, I've got lots to cover today. We won't have a lot of time in which to do it, so we're going to try to blaze through a lot. But I just wanted to take a few minutes here at the top to shout out the VeVe community, and those of you who continue to make it one of the best communities out there. So, I got to say, in my years of marketing and community building experience, I'm consistently impressed by how genuine people are across our Discord, Twitter, and beyond. Whether that be our Discord mods who volunteer their time to help people out, to the folks that participate in the Drop Day live shows, Granola and Geomag with Granola Games giving away community source prizes or mailing out physical collectibles totally out of their own pocket. Whamrot, who's hosting 25 days of giveaways in the giveaways channel on Discord. That is a giveaway every day, by the way. So if you have not, check that out, please. Just last week on Twitter, Cron0721 organized VeVe Festivus, in which 100 plus VeVe fam gave away over 20K gems worth of prizes, I believe. It's crazy.
Crazy.
So shout out to everyone involved and everybody who donated prizes for that. Amazing to see my timeline over the weekend just completely inundated with people going for those prizes. I'd say I'm glad y'all caught the holiday spirit, but honestly, this is beyond that. I've popped in to Twitter Spaces and did Discord Clubhouse chats over the last several weeks and months, and I've heard some truly inspiring stories and just witnessed some acts of just pure kindness towards newcomers to the community or people just going through it, to be honest. And I've been truly moved. I'm sure some of you have as well. So, shout out to Eagle, Skeet, Shadow, Dizzle, VeVe Giffy, Lenny, Nexus, Brian, Kenobi, Emoji, True, Vaultaholics, Homies, Janie and Max, and many, many more I'm sure I'm forgetting right now. But if you know, you know. Point being, it's an absolute pleasure to not only be part of this community, but to see how you like to see each other win, really.
Facts.
We're so dang early in this, and despite some of the bad vibes that have definitely tried us over the last week or so, please remember that all boats rise. We gain nothing as a community from personal attacks, or we're going out of our way to crap on somebody for just trying to get theirs. So Twitter warriors, take a breath. YouTubers, take a breath. Alex G on Twitter, take a damn breath. 4chan. Yeah, I know, I get silly sometimes, guys. But I'm better than that. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So what do you say, everybody? Let's keep those good vibes going. Give me those hundreds.
That's the spirit, Alex.
Give me those hundreds. We got the holidays around the corner.
I can't give the
Give me
hundreds.
those hundreds. We're about to enter a whole new era together. So give me those hundreds. And guess what? 12 days of VeVe start on Monday, 13th of December. Running all the way up to Christmas Eve. We've got a bunch of digital collectible giveaways, including a couple of physical Tods. Give me those hundreds. So stay tuned for more on those shenanigans.
Physical
But for now,
Tods.
that concludes the sermon. And I'd like to hand it over to VeVe Jesus himself, Mr. Reese. Hey bud, how are you?
Reese, I think it needs to be invited up to speak. all of that. All
Fumble.
that build-up, and he's not here.
All right. Well, Dan, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Preparing for the 12 days of VeVe Christmas. It's going to be great. Nice little celebration. Good way to wrap up the year and just give back a little bit to our amazing community. I mean, it's been an insane year, so it's going to be nice to send it off with a bang.
It shall indeed.
There he is.
Yes, VeVe Jesus has arrived. Feels like it's been a while, right? That's chat. Just on the Christmas thing too, there is a community Christmas quiz taking place on the 16th. You'll find the details on Kay's Twitter. I'll share it to Ecomi later as well. We did a community quiz, I want to say 4 months ago now, using Kahoot, which is just an app that lets everybody join and participate. It was heaps of fun.
Hey, appreciate you, Wes.
More of you can make it out this time, and as always, there'll be fun prizes and things too. So it's just another thing to be aware of. But just to set the room, everybody, to anyone who hasn't joined us before, and to everyone that has come along, big welcome, obviously, from all of us. We'll go through the same structure that we usually go through, cover the big ticket items right off the bat. As Alex said, we're a little bit limited for time today, and then we'll bounce between questions that were submitted to Twitter and live questions from the floor. But without further ado, we may as well kick things off. So thank you for that opening word, Alex. Very much appreciated, and the same love and sentiment goes out from myself to the entire community, which has seen some pretty impressive growth of late. Dan, have we got some updated numbers on where we're at in terms of users?
Yeah, we continue to grow by users by the 20 to 30,000 on a daily basis, which is great news on one side. Bad news if you're trying to score a draw.
Oh yeah,
But it's also great news, for the marketplace side of things as well. So yeah, we're still sitting at around 1.3 million active users per month, which is insane when you think, 2 months ago or 3 months ago, that was sitting at around about 500,000. So again, just a huge credit to everyone in the community who, goes out of their way to set up these competitions and do the videos and just, generally promote VeVe and get exposure to the product. So, we really attribute a lot of the user growth to you guys and the fans. So big thanks for that.
Yeah, so I'll second that. And you did just touch on how hard it is to get a drop these days. But I think we'll cover some of those things later as well. Now that we have that growing user base. But before we get there, we have a couple of pending app releases, or one key one. I don't think it's live yet, but we're expecting one this week. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. So very excited to say that finally, after all this time, Showroom V2 will be released later today.
What?
Yep, so I hope you've got all your weekends cleared so you can spend time.
What? Later today?
We're going to release publish an article on our Medium channel sometime in the next few hours after this Twitter space. And then keep an eye on your app updates later today. I would say it might be about, let's say off the top of my head, it's probably going to come out in maybe 6 to 8 hours from now. So hopefully that's not 1 or 2 a.m. for any of you. And if it is, no reason to get up. It'll be there.
I'm not sleeping tonight.
So yeah, a couple of things to touch on. I think I've covered this in some of the last AMAs, but just to give you guys an update on exactly what is going to be coming out with the Showroom V2. So obviously we have Showroom version 2, so we are upgrading from our beautiful white polygon square box, which is the existing Showroom, to something that is far more aesthetic and looks a lot nicer. And inside of that new Showroom, we've also removed those kind of wall panel things that were in there, just to open up the space and allow you guys to have more room to sort of play around. And yeah, very excited to see what awesome creations are going to come out of this new Showroom. There is a small well, I won't say an Easter egg, but in the same way that there was that lovely little crack in the wall for all of you older Hop and Showroom fans, you'll know what I'm talking about, where you can escape out into the sky box. We do have the area in there as well that you can exit. It's not visible,
cool.
So feel free to have a wander around and try and find it. Now, for anyone who has a version 1 showroom, you will keep those showrooms unless you delete them. Once you delete them, if you create a new showroom, you will, moving forward, get the Showroom version 2. So if you want to keep...
So don't delete them.
If you want to keep the old showroom or the Showroom version 1, just make sure you don't delete it. And all of your collectibles, the setups that you've done inside the Showroom will of course stay intact. Secondly, is a new type of showroom coming in called the empty space. Now this works exactly the same way as Showroom version 1 and version 2. It's got all the same controls. You can add collectibles, etc. With the big difference in this one here is that it has no walls, or it has no gallery. It's basically just a big, as the name implies, funnily enough, an empty space. And one of the main purposes of this new showroom is we've had many requests from our fans, you guys basically, to have multiple collectibles in augmented reality. Now, some of you have been very smart and worked out that you can do that by dragging them outside the door of the existing showroom, and then when you go into AR, they're all available there for you. But this new empty space showroom just makes that significantly easier. You can drop as many collectibles as you want in there, within reason, of course. Position them all, scale them, rotate them, exactly what you're doing now. And then you can jump straight into AR mode, and now you'll be able to basically have all of your collectibles there, walk through them, do whatever you want. And also to make this AR feature even easier in the empty space, there is a new option when you are in AR mode when you're using the empty space showroom called Move All. And this will basically allow you to move all of the collectibles that you've got in the scene in one go. So you can scale them up and down, you can rotate them, you can move them, just to save you having to go through that painstaking process of
That's big right there.
moving each collectible one by one. And then lastly, across all of the showrooms, we've added in the undo redo feature.
Ooh, that's
again,
big.
just a little bit of quality of life upgrade. So you can experiment a little bit more without having to manually move those things back. So I think that's going to be a big improvement. So that's all coming out today. So keep an eye out for that.
Wow, already.
Now, next week or the following week, we will be rolling out one more update to the showroom, and this is all around how you move the collectibles inside the showrooms. Right now, you have to tap on the collectible, and then you get the 3 buttons down the side that allow you to move, rotate, or scale. We're actually doing away with all of those buttons, and we're changing everything basically just to finger drag. So you want to move a collectible somewhere around the floor, you can just tap on it and drag it. If you want to rotate it, you can just drag your finger off the selected collectible, and then obviously you can pinch to the scale up and down. So I think that's we've implemented this because it's the current system is a little bit cumbersome, especially when you're on those tiny little devices. So really looking forward to getting that updated as well. So we'll keep you guys posted on what's happening there. But yeah, very excited to get this out, and excited to see what amazing creations come out of it.
Yeah,
that's big.
For sure, definitely. Valhalla is going to go crazy on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So question, because I've gotten this plenty of times on Twitter, but just to confirm, comics in showrooms is not part of Showroom V2, correct?
No, it's not. That is still being worked on. There are a few technical issues that we need to work through. We have actually worked out, or the developers know how it's done. So it's just a matter of us finishing that up. But I know that people are very, very keen to get the comics in their showroom. So we have bumped it up the priority. Actually, just at the beginning of the week, the project manager and I were saying maybe we should get that one back up on the list.
Right on. Cool, and there will be an accompanying Medium article. I know you mentioned that, but just keep an eye out for that, everybody, just so you get the full scope of everything that's rolling out.
Can't wait for the comics to get in there.
Perfect. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, this showroom, and it looks fantastic. And we can stop heckling Trevor about the lighting once it's out. That's perfect. Now, sometime last week, they were actually very lucky recipients of the Ron English Gold drop for having that set completed. Now, there were definitely some users who did not receive that, even though they had the set completed. Do you want to just give a bit of an update on that, Dan? Where are we at with that and what's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the important thing to realize is that there was a cut-off date for those golden rabbits. It was a gift that we well, actually, I won't say it's a gift that we decided to do. It was a gift that Ron decided to do. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for everyone who got it, we really hope that you enjoyed the gift. And for those, there definitely are still some pending users. The devs have been working through the list just to work out who was missed out from the cutoff period. And we will have that all resolved by the end of next week. But please just keep in mind that if you don't get one, it's because we have a cutoff date. If you were buying, a day before or an hour before completing the set, I'm sorry to say, don't expect that you'll get one, because we have to obviously, work out how many editions we want to do, and for that reason, that there was a cutoff date.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. Most people are used to that sort of snapshot date.
Can you guys hear everything okay?
We'll work to sort out those other the ones that are due out. And just on that, I think it's always pertinent that we give a bit of a security update. Of course, everybody sees these hot images floating around and all that kind of stuff. But our new systems are absolutely smashing them, as far as I'm aware. Any updates on that front there?
Let's go.
Yep. I mean, I'll just say what I basically always say, which is, we employ some of the best companies in the world to manage, for bot protection. But as I've always been very transparent about it, bots are always a cat and mouse game. Bots do something new. We implement the update, or our bot protection team will be like, this is where we think it's going, so they put some future protections in place. But if you see one or two bot images floating around, I mean, just bear in mind that one of them pops up like every couple of weeks, and then every couple of weeks, the community goes into a spin, and everyone thinks that we're just doing nothing, and we don't care. But we do care, because we have to spend quite a lot of money to care. So it's something that we take very, very seriously on our side. And if you are a bot user and you get caught, then there are 100% ramifications. I feel a little bit sorry for our support team. They are always dealing with these bot guys, and I can tell you that they are pretty ruthless when it comes to it. It is a straight out violation of our terms and conditions, and of course it takes away the fence for everyone else. So just anticipate every couple of weeks someone's going to throw up an image of a bot. And as I mentioned last time, we do everything on our side. We employ the best companies, we spend a lot of money. Our support teams, our developers, are always on the lookout and on the watch for bots. And on the community side, if you do see something, or you find someone selling a bot,
Report it.
Please report that to us, because then we can immediately, basically disable that entire bot. And if you are thinking about buying a bot, don't bother doing it, because it's probably not going to last long. So it'd be better for you just to spend.
Where is he? Did he cut off?
Yeah. So shout out to everybody who has been sending those images, and yes, we see them. Yes, we care. Yes, I do see them on every tweet I ever tweet. And tweeted. But they are being recorded. We are taking it very seriously. So continue to be diligent, and be careful out there. Don't buy a bot.
Yeah, I'd second that for sure. And it's not just the security systems that we put in place. Like, we've also changed the drop system and the drop model over the last few months to account for these things too, right? We went from first in, best dressed to randomized edition numbers. Obviously, we have a new drop model coming in as well that will help to cut down on these kind of nefarious activities too. So we are really attacking this from all fronts to try and make this as fair and even as we can across the board.
And I think on that note, Rick, I was just going to say, I mean, even the US government is now, thinking to outlaw bots. So it's a very widespread issue, and as more and more digital content comes in, or even whether that's like a Nike drop, a Nike sneaker drop online, all of these companies, from large to small, suffer from bots. So just if we can work with the community, we do what we can, you guys do what you can. It's just going to level the playing field for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, some of these protections and systems do have automated ways of operating, and there are occasionally false positives. There are people that are using the app correctly and as they should, who still get caught in the net sometimes. But I guess I just wanted to take a moment to reassure everyone that we do then go and investigate these accounts and why.
Why does it keep pausing like this?
I think the only other thing to add is that we get messages through support channel of people reporting suspected bots, where, for example, they might see someone in the marketplace, the same user who's selling 10 editions of the same collectible, the same price, and we take that very seriously as well. And I can assure you that every time we go and look into it, 90% of the time, that user might have scored one on the drop, and the rest are purchased off the marketplace, or maybe they're all purchased off the marketplace. So, don't freak out if you see someone in there selling 10 or so. Feel free to, submit it through to support so we can look into it. But I think sometimes just don't jump to, the worst possible conclusion.
Yep. good advice there. I think that's very fair. And just on the side of support, if your issue isn't support, or something going wrong with the product or anything like that, probably direct them to us outside of the support network. That way, those guys can work through the tickets and help people's accounts get back online, activated, all of those things.
Lucas.
Just give a bit of mental space.
Lucas paid you to say that, didn't he, Reese?
He definitely paid me.
Guy's probably so busy.
It's a request. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, we have some platform updates. Somebody took the liberty of tweeting something fun from the Ecomi page today. I think we have some IMX migration updates. Maybe?
Somebody took the liberty.
Who was that?
I don't know.
Where are we at, guys? IMX? Everyone's excited? Let's get to it.
XOXO.
XO.
Yeah, exactly. XOXO. No, everything's going very well with IMX, and we are anticipating that we will have all of the reminting done on this side of Christmas, which is only a couple of weeks away now. So while it's a hashtag soon, it's a hashtag soon. So everything's going very well on that. The developers have got the final things ready for the reminting, which is going to be underway from next week. And like I say, we're anticipating that all of that reminting process is going to be in place by the before Christmas. So that'll be a nice little Christmas gift for everyone. And then after that is stage 3, which is basically where we do the token swap. Now, I made the call that we don't want to do that over Christmas or over New Year's. The stage 3 is the most important part of this migration, and something that we need to approach very, very carefully. And I don't want anyone coming in with a New Year's Day hangover and trying to tackle any of this. So as soon as the team is back early January, we will be kicking that off. And between now and then, Reese, I believe you are going to be putting out or publishing a number of articles that you've done that explain in a little bit more granular detail exactly how the token swap process is going to work, and everything else around that. And of course, we will also be announcing more details as we get closer to the time. So it'll be very.
Every time I scroll down, it just takes forever to load, I guess. Just trying to see what was in the AMA.
That Reese will put out about how your tokens can be swapped automatically. But if not, if you need to do a manual swap, then we will have our token swap web platform up for basically indefinitely until everything is swapped over.
Yep, that's exactly right. I'll put out all those instructions and information in the next couple of weeks. The only thing I will say now, I've repeat this 1,000 times between now and then, please only use our links. Do not, there's going to be, I already know there will be scams coming out of the woodwork, trying to say, well, you migrate your tokens, or this is the site, or any of those things. So, as always in crypto, guys, just be very conscious of the links you are opening.
That's big right there.
The official stuff that we put out, just to make sure you are in the right place. But,
and I think that to add to that, Reese, I mean, some people can be quite sneaky. Like, if you, for example, if you're doing the word Ecomi and it's all in uppercase letters, the I might actually be a lowercase L. So, yeah, just to second what Reese said, just be very careful and make sure you're following only official links from our official channels.
That's big right there.
Yeah, perfect.
No scams.
Other than that, super excited. Very, very happy to be.
It's all happening. It's all happening.
It's all happening.
It's happening.
Now, comment on everything we tweet is the Mtl Updates. We've been testing all of that in the live version, production version, all of that. Do you want to just update people on where that is at?
Yep, that is correct. So we rolled that out into production, what was it, a week or two back now. And we are just working through with our beta testing group to just ensure everything goes well. Most of it has gone well so far. There's a few things that we do need to address before we open it up to the wider community. But other than that, it's going well. It's live. it's out there for users. So please bear with us as we get through these last little steps. Obviously, setting up a international payout system is fairly complicated, as you can appreciate. But we are making good progress now, and again, 2022, it's going to be fantastic to have this in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you want to just maybe give everyone a refresher on the rollout of this? I mean, we're just going to bring in small groups to start.
That's correct. Yeah. So right now it's internal and a few external users that we have selected, and then after that we will roll it out to smaller groups, like 10, then 20, then 30, then 50, and then at that point, once we are feeling very confident about things, we will then start to open it up to much bigger groups, like 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, and then once we reach a critical mass, we will open it up to everybody.
Cool.
Yeah, perfect. It's a very similar rollout to when the market reopened a couple of months
Exactly.
ago for
Yeah.
any of the OGs that were around then. So, all right, fantastic. 2022 is shaping up to be a great year. MCP version 0.3. Is that where we're at now?
Well, actually, it's going to MCP version 1.0. I think we've got pretty much everything finalized now. Yeah, and again, a lot of fantastic feedback from the community.
Let's go.
One shout out that I want to do is, I believe the channel is called Orion Trader or Orion Crypto Trader. He does great breakdown videos, and I think I saw one pop up on my YouTube feed about the the new queuing system that we have coming up. So I just want to do a shout out to you. I watched a couple of your videos on the breakdown of MCP points, and it's awesome having this feedback from the community. So MCP version 1.0 only has a few changes because I think we're looking pretty much bang on with everything. Couple of points to cover off is that we decided that for duplicate comics, for the common and uncommon rarities, these will be exempt from the duplicate point deductions. For the reason being, we did lower the point system down for common comics down to about, I think it was 0.25 points, and felt it was just a little bit unfair that you would get those points reduced further with the duplicates. So that's one of the updates. The second thing that I just wanted to clarify as well is that with the drop lottery, as many of you probably know, we switched this to a raffle type system. Now, if you are participating and if you are successful in the drop lottery, then you will need to basically spend all of the drop tickets that you have submitted. So it's not just going to be one ticket for one item. If you choose to use your points to get 1,000 tickets and you win, then those 1,000 tickets will effectively be debited from your account. If you are unsuccessful, then your points will be returned to you. And I think I can't remember what we decided, Reese. Was it the full points or was it 90%?
Yeah, I think that was only we changed it a little bit.
Yeah, I think we changed it. Yeah, I'd have to go back and have a look. I think you get 90% or something like that back.
Yeah.
What else have we got here? Under the MCP Pro, we have added in a few additional features, like if you are part of the MCP program, which for those of you who don't know is just going to be a monthly paid program that will give you some extra advantages. And we have added 3 additional things in there. Number one is that under the MCP Pro, you will get a number of drop raffle tickets per month. We have added in renting collectibles, that will be rolling out sometime next year. And then we also have some really cool extended augmented reality features that are getting rolled out as well. So they are also part of the OMI utility program, and we've now put them also under the MCP Pro. So a couple of great new features going in there. And I'm sure as time goes on and we roll out new features, we might continue to add to that MCP Pro. So keep an eye out. Next week, we'll be publishing that final version of the Master Collector Program version 1. And we've already started on I actually should say continued on the developments on our side. Obviously, the plan the MCP has evolved quite a bit with all of the amazing community feedback we've had. So great to get that underway.
Yep,
I'm excited.
sure. And
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Utility program as well. Big thanks to everybody for the discussions and their feedback. It's obviously incredibly helpful for us to be able to shape these programs around your expectations as well as the actual practicality of them. So Dan and I have a few models to run through still for version 2 of 0.2, I should say, for the OUP. But we have heard your feedback and we are definitely integrating that. Do you want to go into more depth on that at the moment, Dan, or should we wait until we finalise?
I guess we can just touch on a few light points, such as some additional tiers in the staking program. Also, the easier access to use OMI in the market. We're looking to maybe remove that access out of the tiers and just have it a bit more open. And then we are also looking into offering some kind of exclusive or collectible content. So if you're staking at a particular tier, you might have a better chance to get something like a secret rare or an ultra rare. There will be things like exclusive accessory packs, a whole bunch of things like this. So really, from our perspective, because Ecomi has to be very careful on what we do with the token. To offer some form of APY becomes quite a complicated thing for us, because we're a real business with one foot in the real world and one foot in the crypto world. However, what we are looking at doing now is offering, or at least having the greater chance to get some of these secret rare collectibles.
Yeah. I think that was some of the key feedback that we received too. People want that collectible incentive for different staking tiers, so we're definitely trying to integrate that. Also, big thanks to everyone who submitted their suggestions for the new tier names. I think Omi McBoatface is my current favourite.
Please. Why?
Send through to me, Reese. You at the top, as in why you. You at the top.
Yeah.
That's for you, Dave.
You at the top.
We might throw those over to a poll, but
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it might be a good idea. We'll find out.
Yeah, you never know.
That's it. But okay, cool. Well, we'll aim to have version 2 out of the OUP next week as well, and then we'll do another round of feedback. So again, please don't change your entire lives based on these working documents. They are
Still not final.
A work in progress. And another work in progress that we are waiting on is the web platform. Any updates on that?
Yep, web platform is coming along very well. I'm actually hoping to give some previews sometime in January. But I personally am very excited. Every time I've been working on the web platform or going through and reviewing it, and then I have to go back to my phone. I'm like, oh man, we need to get this out, just because it's significantly. I wouldn't say easier to use, but anything on a desktop is just a little bit more comfortable, especially when it comes to the showrooms. No more having to drag your finger around on this tiny screen. You can now position all of your collectibles with your mouse and all that kind of thing.
That's gonna be big.
What else can I update on that? That's pretty much it, really. I mean, it's just going through the paint by numbers, really, just building out the features.
Yep, and for anyone who is maybe new to the community and not aware of the web platform up until this point, I mean, the first iteration really is just a mirror of the app on desktop. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, that is accurate. I mean, effectively, you are logging into one app, which is VeVe, and you will now or soon have the option to do that with two different interfaces, whether that's mobile or whether that's desktop. So same with your VeVe login to log in into whatever platform and then obviously you're going to have everything you want at your fingertips.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'm sure people will be holding out for that. And we touched on this a little bit earlier, but we are going to implement a new drop model. I'm not sure if we've spoken about it at length previously, but did you want to dive into the plans there and how that's going to take place?
Yeah, I do actually. So we do have the, and for those of you who are new, so right now we have the extremely exhilarating, heart palpitating, numerous strategies and gates for the current dot system. Now, as the platform grows and we get significantly more users in at the drop time, we need to shift to a queue or what's referred to as a waiting room.
Oh man!
Now, I know everyone who has the all of the tips and tricks nailed down are probably not going to be too happy about this, but ultimately, moving forward, this is the most fair way to do it. It allows us to scale, far beyond where we're at now. However, we are still going to, make sure that it is a quick and fun and exciting experience. So the way it will basically work is 5 minutes before the drop is going to take place. You can go into the collectible or into the blind box screen, and you can tap the join wait button, and then you will be in the wait list. And then when the drop happens, there'll be a random selection of users chosen to purchase the collectibles. Now, obviously, there's things like the drop raffle. So, as you participate in the drop raffle, that will give you a chance to be selected. So, by default, when you hit the join waitlist button, you have effectively have one entry, in the waitlist. And if you choose to participate in the drop raffle, you are basically giving yourself more opportunity to get selected. So I think with these kind of two things, it's still going to be a cool experience. I'm not going to say it's going to be as crazy and it's as exciting as the current one. However, it is more fair. It allows the company to scale, and it's a far more efficient system. So that is probably going to roll out before the end of January. The development is
that's actually good for us.
And in the next couple of weeks, we'll be kicking off on the user interface button. And again, Reese, I'm sure we'll be putting together an amazing article, and we'll keep you guys right up to date with what's going to happen there and how it's all going to work.
For sure. And I mean, Dan, you did just say the end of January, but can we just extend that to the end of March? And then if it gets delivered early,
well, the thing is, Rick, I didn't say what year. See, I've got smart now.
Obviously, we try to deliver these things as quickly as we can, but if I've learned anything this year, it's that development takes way longer than it's going to. So it's
well, I think the developers are pretty good. I think what it is, there's a lot of stuff that you have to tackle as a business. Whether dealing with the massive user growth or request from a particular licensor. So it's not like we're slow on the development. It's a very big and fast-moving company now. So there's a lot of things that are going on.
Disney probably wants it to be like that.
Absolutely. And the only other thing I have on mind is, which made me laugh a little bit, we've been talking Artist Alley for the last 12 months. Turns out DC has their own Artist Alley brand or anything like that. So just so there's no confusion there, the Artist Alley release from DC that just happened is not part of our Artist Alley feature. Are we looking to rename that potentially, or are we just going to run it now?
Artist Alley for us was always just a working title. I mean, really, with that program, we are looking to bring in artworks, as opposed to sort of the branded collectibles you get now, or the comic books. This will be an entirely new category that will be rolling out, with one-of-ones or at least very, very limited. And they are, for the most part, will be auction-based. And we have quite a cool auction system, which we will release more information as we get a bit closer.
Awesome. Love that little tidbit just hanging there. But all right, well, that's it on my list, Alex.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go ahead and I think we answered this directly on Twitter, but Tales of the Rizzo, one of our Voltaholics, asked about scaling issue on Storm and DC Artist Alley collectibles. And I believe we've kind of figured that out, right? There were some parameters, upper and lower parameters erroneously put on some of those collectibles that allowed, or limited scaling rather. That has been fixed and will be fixed moving forward, correct?
Yep, 100%. We've identified who was doing that and told them, you're a very naughty boy and you need to make sure you're not putting limits because everyone wants a giant Wonder Woman. So I think all of the DC Artist Alley has been fixed, and I believe the other one was the Decon mascot, which is due to go out in the next, I think early next week. That's going to be re-uploaded. You guys won't have to do anything on your side if you own it. If we do an update to the 3D asset, it will just automatically download when you go to browse it again. And I can't quite recall what else there was. Alex, do you remember off the top of your head?
I believe it was Storm.
Storm. Yeah, Storm as well. So yeah, we found the issue now, so we'll be rolling those updates out.
Cool. All right. Movie asks, if you stagger comic drops for us Aussies, please. 3 a.m. drops have been killing it. Now, I think I can, keep me honest here, Dan, but we have been discussing playing with some different drop times just to kind of make things a little more accessible across the board. Keep in mind we have a worldwide audience, majority of which are kind of Pacific time zone ahead. So if we go too late in the day, then all of Europe is in the middle of the night. So we're trying to figure out maybe if we kind of move it just an hour or two, if that's going to help our friends down under as well as New Zealand. So we'll be experimenting with that soon, likely in the new year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is. We're kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't. We move the date too far one way, then we get people from another region, getting upset at us. And from our perspective, we absolutely aren't trying to ignore anyone down in the South Pacific. I mean, of course, that's where Dave and I are. And all of my friends every week give me hell about, damn, why is it always at 5 a.m., you don't care about me. And I'm like, hey, you better be quiet or I'm going to disable your VeVe account. And it always works, every time. So yes, we are going to be playing, playing around with those drop dates to make it a little bit more reasonable for people around the world.
Right on. Okay, VeVe, Omi My Homie asks, a rough ballpark idea when the secure wallet will be back in stock for the holidays?
Sounds like a question for David Yu.
Yeah, okay, so we might put some stock on this morning.
That was a lot faster than what I thought we were going to say.
Hey, just trying to please everyone. We'll put some stock on today for shipping for Christmas.
Nice.
Okay, next question. I actually have this from a few different people. The reminted NFTs on IMX, will they be dated with the original mint date, or will they be the new mint date, which is sometime next week, before Christmas, rather?
Yes, it will be the latter. There were a number of complications around that, so we basically will be reminting them, and that will just be on chain. Obviously, if you look at the collectible inside the VeVe app, all of the the dates that you purchased prior to the reminting will all still be there, but on chain, we opted just to move ahead with a remint.
Great. Okay, let's do a couple more here. Chokes asked, when front camera feature?
That is a great question, actually. I do not know, but I will have a look into it. I think, oh no, that's right, I do know. We were waiting for the to implement a new feature in AR that is supported on most devices now called occlusion. And what this allows you to do is to be in front of one of these 3D assets when you are in augmented reality. So for those of you who don't know, when you drop a collectible in AR right now, you can't walk in front of it. It will always appear in front of you. But Apple and Google and such have now implemented this occlusion feature, which will basically allow you to walk in front of it and sort of mask the collectible out behind you. And so we decided to wait till we get that in place, because otherwise, there's not going to be too much. Ultimately, a front-facing camera, you want to take a selfie with Batman, right? And Batman should be behind you. So once that feature, which is actually all developed, we just need to get to the UI side of things.
Got it. Cool. This one might be for Mr. Debut. Stefan asks, will we ever see blind box series with 10K editions, which are all unique in their own way?
Like one-on-ones?
For example, each one in the blind box is completely different.
I'm sure someone's hacking my email or my account.
Not me, Dave.
I mean, how is it possible? I mean, that's a wild guess. But yes, we are working on something that will be in this line, where it's 10,000 unique blind box. Every character's one of one. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be fun.
And I think just to clarify, Dave, I don't think they're all going to be completely unique, like say Bored Apes. There'll be variations.
Correct. Yeah, but they're unique in a way where there's no two look-alike type of thing in the movements or the arms. Obviously, if you do 10,000 of one character, you're going to have a bit of overlap that looks slightly, but when you look close, it won't be. And I mean, we continue to roll out new categories. I think this week we announced Citron model and Das model, and this is basically just the preheating up to our new range of cars coming out. Car collectors are one of the biggest in the world, and all our audience would understand we like to pace ourselves when we announce these brands. So, watch this space. I think we have a lot more offering and brands that will be coming on board that I think our collectors will be very excited. For all the car enthusiasts out there, this is the time for you to start saving up. Just on that.
All right. Well, thank you. In fact, that's probably a miss on our part, or my part rather, that I didn't add that to the agenda. When kind of recapping some of the big announcements that we made recently. One including Jim Henson Company with the 35th anniversary of Labyrinth. Very excited for that, for all you 80s kids like me who are excited to get your hands on some Labyrinth collectibles. That will be coming soon. We also have, as David mentioned, Citron and DS, two
big
manufacturers who will be debuting concept car NFTs on the platform. Very excited.
Super exciting. In case anyone missed it, we announced earlier in the year that we also have General Motors. So there's kind of
Why do you bring that up, Reese, all of a sudden? Sounds random.
No reason at all.
Okay.
Putting it back out there.
All right.
Jam soon.
Move to the stage. Let's just get a couple of these going before we move back to the Twitter questions. Again, community, fam, we have a limited amount of time today, so I'm just going to try to blow through a couple of these heavy hitters. So with that said, let's get the two blue checks up for purposes of maybe getting some tough questions. What do you think, Dan Chabelle?
Well, I love tough. I don't know if these are the toughest questions, but I think I'm representing a lot of people who have asked these questions all over social media. And I want to first thank my girlfriend for letting me do this because I had to basically bribe her with sushi to be able to be on this call for a long time. And for all the nice messages that I've got, I just want to promote what Alex said opening up this whole call is, hey, you know, if you want to criticize something, criticize ideas, don't attack people. And I think that I view us all on the same team. So let's kind of help each other, learn from each other, improve as a community because everyone's working really hard and everyone's very invested in this. That's why you have 2,500 people here or more who are listening on a Thursday night. So
Facts.
the first thing is, one of the things that gets talked about a lot is the FA designation. So in terms of clarification, when in a collectible says FA, does this mean first appearance on VeVe, or does it mean first appearance on VeVe and any other possible digital form on competitive, you know, NFT sites, etc.?
Yeah, Dave, you're probably the best one for that.
Yeah, we classify our collectible as the premium collectibles. So when we say first appearance on something, it's the first appearance of that collectible. We don't really pay too much attention at the moment what other project is happening, and I do understand there will be other companies out there that will be minting their licensed digital collectible. I don't think most of them out there do classify them as first appearance. Just so we all understand, the rarities, the first appearance, the con exclusive, all these things have came to my mind because I've been in the collectible business all my life, and I put these in place for pretty much for the VeVe fans to easily navigate, even the commons, uncommons, the secret rare, and the seasons, how we break them down. These are all, I won't say we trademark them or anything. It's just a language that we use every day. When I speak to Dan, how many we're going to mint? Are these going to be the first edition or the first appearance? Are these the con exclusive? What makes them secret rare? We just want to make sure that the terms that we use, we do run past with Marvel, we do run past with Disney. They do know, they do see the screens that what we call them FA, they do understand them. So I guess it is relevant. Yes, they are the first, collectible of its type. And just to make it clear, we are still today the first one minted Marvel. DC understand that. The news when they put it out, it was miscommunication through their media and PR team.
Spider-Man, boom!
The collectible that we had, the first mint of these characters in digital NFT format.
Well, thank you so much, David. I think that brings a lot of clarity to this because a lot of people designated enormous amounts of value to these tags, and in terms of how they're looking at it in terms of investment and what matters, and one versus the other, and how people disseminate. As you've been a collector forever, that people are constantly looking at like mint numbers and tags in order to differentiate value and scarcity, etc. So the other question I have is, so we talk a lot. One of the big complaints is when MTL, like we hear when all the time through social media, Discord, everything. And Jeremiah and I, and I think Taps is on board, and a lot of the community members have kind of pushed this up on Twitter as well. Is I know it's very hard to say X will be done by March of 2022, and like giving dates is really hard because there's so many variables. But there's also seems like a huge need for expectations being set. So is it possible? Again, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, so there could be a reason why this makes no sense. But is it possible to have maybe a page on the website that has status bars for certain things without saying dates and just have percentages, and then you just move, 53% complete, etc.? Is that possible? Is it smart? Can you give us a sense of potential solutions for setting expectations so that people
I like that
feel
idea.
like we're moving forward? And that kind of can eliminate some of the FUD and the and people worrying about is this ship moving forward, even if
I
a
like
lot
that
of us
idea.
know the ship's moving forward, because the key is if you trust the executive team, then you trust everything in a sense. So is that a possible solution?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem is we, rather than making our website looks pretty and all that, we put all our resource getting the work done. And I understand that our audience community like to be what you're asking is to be even more transparent. Yeah, we definitely will be looking at it. We do put out a Medium article which updates everything monthly, so maybe that's something we can do in there a lot more better to update the community. And I do have to say, we do look at and we do examine how many users out there and how much jam. There is a handful of users are sitting on, I call it gold mine of gems, but rest assured, 99%, maybe 98% of users are sitting on less than like $100 worth of gems in their wallet, or a couple hundred. You know, so the I guess in the community, as we all know, is that the one that makes the voice the loudest is the one that is frustrated because they want it there sooner than later. So yeah, well, and we do understand. And lastly,
Facts.
I just want to remind our community is that anything that can be done within the company's power, we are the most agile team you will see. We will move, we will prioritize tasks, but the problem is when it comes to third party and regulations, it's a lot more hurdle. And I do have to admit, maybe I won't say we've been misinformed, or maybe, we didn't thought the problem was going to be as big as it is, or the issue, or the task, the pressure point. But everything now, myself and Dan have come to realize is that when there's 95% done, that last 5% sometimes counts for 50% of that whole line of production. So we're just going to be a little bit more careful moving forward, and just ensuring that we set date. And then you are correct. We will need to be a bit more transparent, and we'll put more effort into that coming up. But I think apart from MTL, MC program, the utility program, these are the last few pressure points. And I think once it's done, especially in the coming up quarter now, we are ticking over, that will all be gone. And I'm sure our audience will be giving us other things next year.
No,
And yeah. So I just want to rest assure everyone that we are working all we can round the clock to get things sorted. Just give us a little bit more time, be a little bit more patient, and we'll get there together.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that, Dave, I mean, number one, I'm extremely surprised to hear about this hashtag Wins thing. I don't think I've seen that anywhere. Number two is that, I'll put my hand on my heart and apologize. I'm often too optimistic about getting a feature out, and I'm probably the source of some of the FUD where, I expect that it's going to be out by this date, but then, we either run into issues, or like David said, sometimes the last 5% can take, 50% of the time. And it's always completely out of our control. We try to work very hard. And then lastly, I think I mentioned on an earlier AMA is that, we are a collectibles business, and that will always be the priority. If we're not doing drops, there's no point for NTL, there's no point for NCP. So we do make sure that we are, always making sure that we are
focused,
contributing enough resources to ensure that we are, keeping these drops coming. And, from the audience side, but also from our licensor side, we need to keep a lot of people happy across the board. And then just lastly, I'll say, things like Master Collector Program, OMI Utility, these are quite complicated features. I mean, you guys have probably read through the Master Collector article. there's a lot of calculations going on there. You know, we need to ensure that everything is going to work correctly, all the retrospective coin calculation. So, yeah, please just don't think that, I don't know, David and I are running off sitting on the beach having a beer. It's never the case.
And just to let our audience understand that the cashing out function and the web function was actually never part of our roadmap. We actually never intended from day one, because we didn't even think about it that far down. So it did take us a bit of a curve, a Y-turn, that we had to quickly get a team to start integrating these functions and to scale and to make this even a greater app than it is. And so I just want people to understand that the resource that we have, and we are scaling. I do get a lot of message. People say, well, you missed the scaling part. We don't advertise how many people work in the company and how many new additions we added. Doesn't mean we're not scaling, and we're still the same size as we were 10 months ago. We're one of those companies, we just want to get things done. We're not going to jump in and tell you, well, we added 15 more members and this guy's going to do this and that. I think our job, and to give less pressure point to our engineer, is just we let them do their work. We don't let them come into the circle that myself and Dan, this is our job. And like I say, we do apologize if you failed. We have overpromised you and underdeliver. Our goal next year is to less promise and over-deliver above what we want, and you guys will see a lot of these coming up.
Awesome. Thank you, David and Dan. I can just see the status bar memes now.
No, there's going to be a status bar called win, and it's going to be at 10%.
It's going to start at win and end at win. Okay, so thank you, Dan. Jump in. All right, let's go move on to DeLargo. What's up? You're on mute, buddy. Nope.
Hey, can you hear me, guys?
Yes. Go.
Dude, I'm in in the work right now, and I listened to my name, and I was like, oh my god. But yeah, basically, I don't have questions, guys. I like that I have the opportunity to speak, and I think I'm speaking really nervous right now. And I'm speaking on behalf of the Latin community, Mexican community, and I hope so that Spanish community. And well, I don't really know what to say, man. You remember that scene on Godfather that who's this guy that Luca Brasi goes to the Godfather and just like say thanks to the Godfather? I'm that guy right now, so
Awesome.
yeah, I don't know what else to say, but thank you guys.
Thanks for your support.
I just wanted to bring you up and appreciate the support, which is
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
All right, Austin.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good thing.
Awesome. Couple questions. I'll be really quickly. On the app, I don't know if it's been updated. It says 100,000 downloads on Android. I'm not sure how that works. Or when you update that, is it like a monthly thing?
We don't update that. That's just something that comes in automatically from Google.
Gotcha.
But I can tell you it's like 13 times off.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Our audience understand. I think sometime of these ratings and the download number, they do set it to their region there. I realize that someone in the nation is seeing a different number than I'm here in New Zealand. I realized that yesterday because someone was showing me their screenshots of their app store. So I think they do differ, and then you have to add them all up or something.
Yeah, because Austin, you're in Canada, right?
correct. I'm in Canada.
So that might
Yeah,
be-
and it
Maybe
sounds
something
right.
Canada.
We have around that many users in Canada alone. So you know.
Right.
Just on that note, if anyone hasn't rated the app in the app stores yet, and would love to give us a 5-star review, can you please go do that after this segment?
Yes. We were
Run it up, y'all. Give him a 5-star
No,
review.
but we would really appreciate it. For those of you who actually, you know, use it daily and love it, we would appreciate it. Consider
Yeah,
it a
I
holiday
mean,
gift.
yeah, and listen, genuinely, if you think we should get a 5, give us a 5. If you think we should get a 1, please don't press that 1.
Yeah, come complain. It's easier.
Oh, man. Austin,
So-
you actually submitted another question. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask that question.
Okay.
If you could compare Omi's tokenomics to IMX tokenomics, because I know IMX, which is Immutable X, is that they're also a utility coin. So why doesn't Omi have a decentralized governance model? Thanks.
Well, I mean, I think one thing to understand is that we are both extremely different businesses. You know, IMX is a protocol they build their own games on. They're 100% in the crypto space, whereas with VeVe, as I've mentioned a few times, you know, we deal with some of the largest licensors in the world, and we have to have one foot in the real world and one foot in the crypto space. So because of that, there are, I won't say some restrictions, but you know, if we were 100% a crypto company, it's probably unlikely that we would be able to land some of the brands that we do, because there is still a lot of trepidation out there about, you know, crypto, especially of these larger licensors. So, you know, as with the app and everything else we do, you know, I'm more than certain that things will evolve over time, and as crypto starts to become more widely accepted and more understood at these higher levels, it's likely that we will start to move in that direction. But we are under, you know, some constraints when we look at the crypto model.
Right, that makes sense. And then for the minting of comics going to Immutable X, it's a little bit different than normal collectibles. How is that working? Because I know it's like randomized between all 5 variations. Because I think it matters for people.
Yeah, so the rarities, I believe, will be written, will be part of the metadata, along with, you know, things like licensor, description, edition number. Outside of that, I don't think there's going to be too much difference.
Like,
All right. Oh, sorry, Austin. I accidentally cut you off. My bad. But thank you. All right. Shadow, you have a question about anything other than a spinning wheel? Please go. Shadow. I'm messing.
Alright, man. Dang it, dude.
You were, weren't you?
I did. I was gonna ask you, man. It's alright. I got a backup question. My 2 favorite things on the utility was that there's gonna be a burn feature and then also a renting feature. A quick thing though that I was thinking about. So like right now, there are a lot of people that are like, man, you know, I might burn some comic books, that type of thing. But, you know, we kind of get on the app, it shows like the total available, and unless you were there before the drop happened to see how many were reserved, some people, like new users, they don't know what the total amount that there is available aside from the reserve. But when people start burning their comic books, will we be able to get like a number to see the availability start to decrease without their reserves a part of it?
This is a good question, Shadow, because this also relates to the burning of the Captain America collectibles and then adding a line of metadata that shows total in circulation. Am I off base with that?
No, you're exactly on point, Alex. So yeah, we will, when we do roll out the burn feature, we will add additional information to the screen, exactly like Alex said, that there were, you know, the original total circulation of this collectible was 30,000. X number have been burned and X number are available. I mean, I think that's, you know, pretty standard information that we would need to add in when we add in the burn feature.
Yeah, and I might next year, if I get a little bit more time, Dan, I might publish a hack guide to VeVe collectibles. And this head guy, we should actually even tell people. I mean, because the first few series of Batman of the collectible, the lower mid numbers were circulating out there, like number 16, 17. So people understand that because when we first released them, we didn't hold any back for the company, or the number were a lot lower until the publishers start asking us for it. So I think the guide to the hack book of VeVe, that will be quite fun, and it will explain to people. We'll probably bring them out in different volumes, and we'll tell them when was Captain America deleted and how many was taken off and why we did it. I think that could be a bit of fun guide. So yeah, definitely on my list.
Awesome. Yeah, that was my question. Thank you guys.
Hey, Shadow.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know or aren't part of our Discord server, Shadow is part of the regular crew on the Discord drop live shows. They have a lot of, hour before and after the drop, I believe. They have tips and tricks and just general chat about VeVe. So if you guys would ever like to jump in there, Shadow's a real one, and join it.
Yeah, we do tips and tricks 30 minutes before the drop, and then we also do granola games. So if you miss out on the drop, right before or right after, granola will drop some games and try to win some other collectibles.
Okay. So what's your gut feeling for this weekend's drop with this Voltron?
Like the mid-size or what?
Yeah.
All right. So y'all got me speculating on the main stage. All right. So my speculation is Voltron. So I feel like it's a pretty big drop. So I'm thinking somewhere between either a small 10K run or between like a 25 to a 30K run. It's kind of what I'm wanting, but I mean,
You have enough of a window there. Anywhere from
Dave,
5
we've worked out who's checking your email, Dave.
well, like a 10K small run, people get really lucky, or like a more generous like 30K-ish run, So.
God, I'm sure someone's hacked to my email again.
Shit, Dave, we better go back and revise the numbers quickly.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Shadow. Gammaverse.
Oh, baby, I'm back. What is up with my VeVe? Damn. I'm glad y'all blessed the highly favored. I know I am. I'm with the VeVe crew. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
No, but I just want to first and foremost, obviously, clap it up. Thank you guys for doing what you guys do. But I know you guys hear that 1,000 times a day. Now, we were thinking in one of these 24-hour VeVe Twitter spaces, because 23 hours of VeVe just ain't enough. We got this exciting Voltron coming out, right? And I got to thinking, like, wait a minute, this could be an opportunity here. So what I wanted to ask, speaking of burning the Voltron, right? In the future, is it possible where, let's say you get, hypothetically, this is not here in VeVe yet, but let's say a Megazord, comes, or whatever comes, right? And you get all of the collectibles, and to get the ultimate collectible, right? The one that connects, you burn all of them, or in some form or fashion, right? Is that something that could be brought in the future?
Yeah. Moving into 2022, we are absolutely have got our eye on, more interactivity and features like you are mentioning. 2021 has just been about, getting our production line in place, and as you know, a lot of the OG collectibles from season 1 are, a lot more simple than say that were brought out in season 2 or season 3. So we absolutely want to continue to evolve the offering, and that might include things like you mentioned, interactivity, or if you have all 5 of something, then it turns into something else. So yes, it basically is the TLDR.
All right. Hey, look, that sounds amazing, man. I got my mind running. And two, one more thing. I'm sorry. Now, you guys did mention about. I know this is kind of far-fetched, but you guys did mention about potentially, customizing cars later on down the road and all that. You don't have to say yay or nay, or too soon or whatever. But let's say if there's like the DeLorean, for example, right? We got that. would you be able, even though that's kind of like a sci-fi card, could we potentially be able to customize like Batmobiles and things like that as well, or is it only for cards that are like in the real world?
So we will have customizations with the vehicles, and I won't say too much more just yet. However, where things are a little bit complicated is, intermixing IP. Like that can start to get quite tricky.
That could be an issue.
Can't say that, we can't promise that we would be able to do that. But along the same lines as your previous question with the, interactivity, customization of your collectibles is something that we want to focus on next year as well.
Sounds like a plan. Hey, keep doing what y'all do as always, and we're here to support all the time. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Good man.
Appreciate you, Gamers. All right, let's move it back to Twitter questions real quick. Relating with Chewy asks, what's going on with the accounts that have been disabled or restricted, like myself? I believe there was a new wave of restrictions that went through on some of our security measures. Can we speak to that a little bit and how support is involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like Reese mentioned before, we have very high-end bot protection services, and their job is to look for certain patterns or certain things when a request comes through, and there are sometimes false positives will come up. Now we understand that can be very frustrating. So if you have been caught out as a false positive, we do apologise. What we're doing on our side is, we take the approach. It's it's better to restrict and then work with the person later on to keep their account unrestricted, rather than potentially let through a whole lot of bots. So what we have been doing on our side is we have been building out our support team. I think correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, we've brought on another 3 or so staff over the past 3 weeks or so. With the whole idea is that, we want to make sure that our support is a lot more responsive. If you do accidentally get caught as a false positive and you submit a support request, then we want to be getting back to you a lot quicker. And we'll continue to build out our support as the user base grows. So, apologies again if you did get caught up, but please reach out to support if you haven't already, and they will undoubtedly remove those restrictions.
And then related to that question, Ty Jansen asks, there's been complaints about non-payments on auctions. Could you foresee the creation and implementation of a system that puts on a hold on gems to be used in auctions until the item is won or you were outbid?
Yeah, now we've thought through this long and hard. Now the issue with putting a hold on gems is that means that everyone who is participating in that auction has to have all of those gems in their account, but only one person is going to win that auction. And then we get, the flip side of that is that we then get saying, I loaded up my wallet and, I didn't win and you guys are a scam. So it's, there's a lot of balancing on either side. However, what I will say is that once the web platform is out, it will be a little bit easier because everything will be done via credit card. Obviously, the Mtl will be in place by then. But I think this is a good opportunity just to bring up again that, right now, you don't need to load your wallet up with gems, especially if you want to buy something from the marketplace. You can click that buy now button and you will be prompted at that point to load up your gems. Now, one caveat to that is that if you are going for floor prices, there will more than likely be 10 other people going for that floor price as well. So in the market, if you want to be more successful, you don't want to load up your gems prior just in case you can't get them out or you don't get the item you want. Maybe just scroll slightly down that list to something that's, maybe 5 gems more, and you'll be more likely to secure that without having to load up your wallet and potentially missing out.
Okay. Hey, Kid VeVe. Kid VeVe in the house. Hello, what's up?
Thank you for picking me.
Of course.
Do you guys?
Question.
Do you guys plan to make the app easier for kids to use? And what are the plans?
Well, technically, VeVe is 13 plus, but we do have a lot of, a lot more kids brands coming out. And one of the other requests that we have from the community is, parents who want to pass their phone over to their children to say play with a Toki Doki or play with one of the collectibles in AR. That we can implement some form of restricted mode. So, hey, Mom, I accidentally just sold your low mint #1 Marvel comics in the market for $5. So yeah, in terms of kids functionality in the app, not so much because we do have an age on the app. But there are other features around parental controls that we have been investigating.
I have a couple of ideas.
Well, now's your chance.
Have it linked to the parent's account, and it can only have gems from the parent's account and cash out that way too.
Yep, that is a great idea. Yep.
Yeah.
Time we employ this kid.
Oh, I was actually just saying, you want to show off?
We met Kid VeVe at DCon, and he's an OG.
Oh, wow.
He's a real one.
Wow,
Can I just say,
background.
he knows how to use these apps just fine. 4 drops a day.
All right. Well, thank you, Kid VeVe. Happy holidays.
You too. It's nice to talk to you all.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, I had somebody else up here, but they dropped. What happened? Okay.
Let me go. I think we got like 5-10 more minutes. Dan, what do you think?
Yep, 5-10 minutes, good by me.
Okay, great. Let's try to squeeze in another here. Coming up. All right. In the meantime, will there be an option to sort comics or collectibles in my collection by mint number?
Yes, there will. And going into next year, now that we are starting to get a lot more comics onto the platform, we'll be introducing other ways to browse, like for example by series. So let's say you have a lot of Spider-Man or a lot of Avengers, you will be able to tap on the Spider-Man icon or Avengers icon to see all of those comics, and then within that view, we can also add in the ability to sort in a number of different ways.
All right, Lenny, you up? ¿Qué pasa, papi?
Hey, Alex. Thanks for bringing me up, Reese, and the whole crew. Hey, this question is for David and DC. It's a complex question, but the question is He-Man or G.I. Joe?
Oh, like in general, or
Yeah, in general. I'm just saying in general. Which
I would have to go He-Man. I grew up with He-Man, so he's definitely top of my list.
Yeah, I mean, He-Man was definitely my first toy.
I would say G.I. Joe.
Was my second love when I came in, and my you guys won't believe this. Myself and Dan have a common friend in childhood, and Dan used to play a few doors up from my neighbor, and I got inherited his whole entire collection of G.I. Joe when he went to the high school.
Oh no, man.
Yeah, I still got them. I still got them. I'll bring them out to show you. I think some of them's in my gallery. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like both, but G.I. Joe's my jam. And,
Let's go, G.I. Joe.
Dan loved He-Man. I love He-Man as well.
Yeah, I like both. I
Yeah,
grew
it's
up
a tough question.
very
It's not tough. It's complex. That's why I said that. But I'll go with I like He-Man because I used to rush to get home and see He-Man. But G.I. Joe, man, I need that Cobra Commander with the shield face and the mask, and I want Destro, and I want all of them.
What happened here?
Do you think David is Santa or what?
Hey Dave, who's the licensor for G.I. Joe? Is that
Sorry?
who's the licensor for G.I. Joe?
It's Hasbro.
Okay. Right. Well, I was just going to say, hey, I mean, VeVe fam, if you want these, these licensors have a Twitter page,
You need to tell them. Mobilize.
Mobilize. Let's go. VeVe fam.
They do listen and they do watch their social and they do approach us afterwards. But generally, it's like, could you get your fence off?
Yeah. They're like, okay, well, we'll do what you want. Just keep your fans at bay.
Yeah.
No problem. I got that covered. Thank you for everything, guys.
Thanks, Lee.
All right, we got time for one more. Let's see, do we make it? How interesting on a scale of 1 to 10 do you want it?
I'll do it later. Whatever.
I see some personalities in this.
Let's go for a Reese 12.
What happened here?
I didn't forget Reese.
Oh, they retweeted me. Nice. Shout out to Ecomi.
Pad, what's up, sir?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? Dave, Lenny, what's up, everybody?
Hey.
Reese, DC. Hey, Al, thank you for letting me in here. I have a question. I know this had been brought up before in one of the streams that we were in with respect to. I have two concerns. One, obviously, is a little more of a question. The other one is just a recommendation. With respect to the auctions, I obviously, Dave, you brought a great point up with respect to the actual number of gems the actual average of each account has, and it's not as high as you think. You're right, like 98% people have only a few hundred or whatever, and that, and I'm using that as a premise to this because when you go into an auction, obviously you don't know, you might need more gems later on. You have to buy them, and that gives you a little time limit to get them. But I think the fact that for a lot of people that come in, because I'm actually a product of a victim of it, where I'm actually in an auction, and there might be people that see me, maybe I'm a little more high profile, so people want to kind of ruin my situation and just go in there and just bid up and over ridiculous, unaffordable, gem amounts, and it's unfair to a lot of people. It's unfair to obviously everybody that's in the auction, more so the seller. But my point I'm getting to is more the fact of the actual recycling of the gems and the delaying of that it has, and the impact. Because what happens is all the people that were involved in the auction, if these particular fake accounts or accounts that just don't really are not really in it for seriousness, after waiting 3 days, other drops are happening. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and a lot of those gems, because they don't have a lot already in their account, sometimes they get spent while they're waiting an auction or waiting for it to end. So here we come up to a point where, it's due day, and then there's still another day to go, and the seller's sitting there for 4 days waiting to get paid, and maybe because of either a false bid or whatever is going on, those particular gems that had legitimate buyers or people that really want to get the particular item, they were without, and those gems now don't get recycled back into the system again. The seller, has got an item that maybe they can't sell now, and so it slows that whole process down. So my recommendation was just with the fact of shortening the time limit on the auction time from 3 days down lower, and also shortening the time to pay from a full 24 hours. I would say, and I had made this recommendation when I was on one of Randy Chavez's stream, that I think if the auctions were like only 1 day, I think you'd have more auctions. Okay, and
I agree with that.
Legitimize them because I mean, everybody knowing that you only have one day, it'll get everybody ready to go.
24 hours.
And you're in, you're out, you're out.
I like it.
And only give a few hours, maybe an hour or 2 hours to pay for it. So in a worst case scenario, if there is some of that fake stuff happening, it'll those gems will, you know, I mean, the seller will have their item back and can put it back up again for maybe some more legitimacy, and they can get them gems maybe if obviously the auction closes back into the system again to purchase something else, and you know it'll increase the rate of burn also. So that was my first thing. Also, the second thing, Mike, was more tailored to a question, and it had to do with the it might be two-pronged, this question, but I had a question about the mints. For instance, like are the mint numbers tailored to the specific time that they were minted on the blockchain? So like a low mint, was it minted on the blockchain prior to a higher number mint, or is it all a random system?
No, they're all sequential.
Okay, so in other words, a 501 was minted before 502, so it has a different date stamp on it. Then you're saying?
Well, it's to some degree. I mean, sometimes the collectibles get minted very fast. So there might be one that was minted at. There could be 10 that were minted at 502, but it might have been 502.01. But obviously, we don't go down that granular. But yes, that is ultimately how it works.
Okay. No, I meant like the number of the actual variant, like the number of 501 is the number of the variant was minted before the number 502 item.
Yeah.
That's what.
They're all sequential, 100%.
Okay. And the other thing is I kind of was a little bit confused, not 100%, just with respect to actually going to Immutable. Are all these mint numbers going to be the same mint numbers when they're on Immutable X? Is it like the same match?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. 100. You don't worry. You're not going to lose your low edition, and it's suddenly going to change to a high edition.
Okay.
Gosh, I think Dave and I would be hunted down and have horrible.
No. The last thing, I appreciate that. The last thing this had to do with specifically Captain America and the collectible. It was for the actual those mints that were burned. Were they burned in fact? Those numbers, and what were if they were?
They haven't.
Yeah.
So what's happened now is that we moved them to a special wallet in the VeVe company account, and then they will, because right now I think Immutable is just finalizing their burn process. So as soon as we're migrated and as soon as they've got that completed, then all of those collectibles will be burned, and that will be part of the same system that will roll out. That will allow you as a user to say burn half of your commons if you want to.
Wow, huge.
All right. Well, thank you, Alex. Appreciate it.
And Alex, just to go back to what he was saying on the
auction.
Yeah. So we absolutely have been looking into that. In fact, I was chatting with the CTO probably a month or so back about what we need to do to reduce the auction down from 3 days to 1 day. So that is definitely something we're going to be looking at, and I'll see if we can get that bumped up the list. And secondly, the reason that we gave people 24 hours to win the auction is, it's actually a holdover from, way back in the early days when we didn't have many users, where, back then you could place a bid and then somebody else may not place another bid for 10 hours. And so if that was the case,
that's crazy.
Let's just say, for example, you were on one side of the world and you were asleep, and then the bid finished, the auction finished, you might be asleep by the time that, you may not have enough time to pay that. However, now that the auctions have become a lot more popular, what we've been discussing is reducing it down to 1 day. And then because you're basically there at the point of the auction's closing, you're going to be there. So, we probably will do away with the 24-hour window. You need to be there at the end of the auction, and then you're more than likely going to have a significantly shorter time to pay. I mean, it might even be down to, let's just say, 30 minutes, because ultimately you're there bidding at the time the auction is closed.
Okay.
Hey, Reese. We've got Uncle Jeremy there.
Hey.
For a while. Let's bring him up for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, how about it?
Poor Uncle Jeremy.
Yeah, I was going for a Harry Potter book, and somehow it went for a stupid price. Uncle Jeremy explained to me why.
Yeah, he did just buy that
shall receive.
Crystal Pikachu.
What's going on, everybody? I'm glad to be here. Uncle Jeremy in the house.
Hello.
It's a real time.
What happened to this Harry Potter book I meant to get for 42 grand?
Wow.
That went for 470 grand.
Yeah, I was in an airplane on business travel, and the internet was out. I was wanting to watch the auction live, and I was incredibly enthusiastically greeted when I landed by a bevy, a tremendous number of texts, including yours, David, saying, what just happened? So I know, that was amazing. Listen, the first edition, first print books are super undervalued. And frankly speaking, this is something that we had, I talked about in another AMA. Something that you guys could always consider is doing second editions of various things, including things like published works and various things. I'm just throwing that out there. There's always room for other editions.
Yeah, that was insane. Because we were swapping out, and I believe like a year back or a year or two back, Harrods department store had a copy for sale for around 300,000, pretty good condition, signed. And Uncle Jeremy had one that's pretty much one of the mintest, the best. I call it the Christmas morning new, right? And that's how I describe the best of the best. And Jeremy, I think you have one that's worth more than $500,000 or more now.
Yeah, I think
so.
And so last year, late in the year, I bought a first edition, first print. There was only 500 of the hardback books, and it was $193,000, and it broke a record for modern books. And just so that people know, today, a version that I would consider a 9 out of 10, mine's a 10 out of 10, sold for $471,000. So it was definitely a moment of great pleasure to see that happen. And I agree with you. But listen, I don't make those types of investments for a quick in and out. Like, I'm in this 10 plus years, as I am with VeVe.
Let's go.
I'm long.
Yeah. And keep in mind that 300 of the 500 copies, they were given to the libraries, right? So they've been read through. They probably have stamp mark or tears and foldings, and so 200 copies that's mint that went to private hands. And I will say the publisher will keep a handful, and the author will have a couple handful of them. So circulating, man, that must be super scarce.
I'm excited, and I know that. So now I have a mission, which is to work with you to figure out how to get one
on
in
VeVe.
your hands, because I know what kind of collection you have.
Yeah, but after that, my book dealer rang me up, and I bought some James Bond from Ian Fleming first edition. Books. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I collect everything that's collectible. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, listen, I was just checking in to listen. Obviously, this is one of my favorite collectibles. What's going on with VeVe and all of the ancillary currency and economy behind it, and so listen, I'm so thrilled that you guys pulled me up, but I'm happy to be listening and one of the community, and much appreciation for pulling me up, y'all.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you have a great holiday season coming up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Shout out to you, Jeremy.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. And think that about Desert. Dan, David, anything else you want to add?
No. I just want to thank everyone. We're coming towards an end. Wishing everyone a great holiday season. And we do have a freaking bumpy bumper, not bumpy, probably will be bumpy, bumper, 12 days of Christmas drops coming, I think. Line up, and I'll let Alex inform you all once it's all ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So 12 Days of VeVe starts on Monday the 13th
maybe 12 days of giveaways. It'll be like an instant win scenario. We're putting the finishing touches on the module now, and we'll give you the URL, and we have plenty of prizes to give away, including digital collectibles and a couple of physical cards.
Ooh.
Yeah, we managed to score a handful of pods, the physical statues, so they'll be part of the giveaway.
That's awesome.
All right, perfect.
That's
And,
awesome.
We'll have some collectibles that we can't announce that will be part of the giveaway because we have not announced those drops publicly, but we do have some holiday
Gotta dust her off.
drops and giveaways coming.
This is awesome.
In the coming weeks, including some really good FAs. So stay tuned for that, and thank you all for joining. We didn't get to your question or two to get you up on stage. I'm sorry, we had a little more limited time today. We usually kind of try to get through as much as we can, but we will continue to do these every other week. We may try to squeeze one in before the holidays, though don't keep me to that because, it's the holidays. Enjoy your lives and your families. But thanks again, and hit us on Twitter if you need anything or if you have any issues or questions that we didn't get to answer. But on that note, that's it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Shout out to the team.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys. I'm gonna be signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed that AMA. Sorry about the little mishap in the very beginning. The audio wasn't on, but it's okay because the Twitter AMA didn't start anyway for the next couple minutes. So, again, shout out to everybody who tuned in today. Hit that like button. Run it up with comments. Make sure this gets spread out. We had 2.5K people in the AMA on the Twitter Spaces today, so that's amazing. Oh, looks like we're all good here. Awesome. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. See you guys on the next drop. Again, Voltron. Voltron's huge. This is going to be an epic drop, and especially once the whole VeVe app is able to actually read in all these different languages. I mean, right now it's still only in English, right? So big growth is about to happen. Big things on the horizon. Shout out to everybody who tuned in today. Hope you guys enjoyed that from the team. We're signing out. It's your boy, Johnny Dunn. We out, y'all.